Industry and government leaders converged on ground zero for alternative energy during the 4th annual Southern California Energy Summit held in beautiful Palm Springs, California. Hello and welcome to Energy Independence Magazine. I'm Dwight Cromie. At the conference, discussions included the growing use of cutting-edge alternative energy technologies powering more of Southern California homes and businesses, as well as the economic rebound of the region. We were able to talk to many of the attendees at the event.
I'm standing with Wesley Algren. He's the Chief Operating Officer with the Coachella Valley Economic Partnership. Here in the Palm Springs area, very important event going on today here at the Convention Center, Wesley. And what an honor this must be to have this event, the Southern California Energy Summit, return. And this is really, I think, Daryl Hannah, I've heard her say, and she's going to be here today, I heard her say that this is kind of ground zero or the epicenter for alternative energy. So this is kind of special, isn't it?
Very special, and it sounds like she got our messaging finally. We've been saying it for about 5 years now that we're the epicenter, and we say that because we have so many renewable energy sources right here. We've got geothermal, wind, solar, algae, biomass, everything within sort of 60-mile radius of here. So we're really excited.
And I think a lot of people may take it for granted because they drive by and they see the windmill farms, and those have kind of been kind of a milestone or a kind of a milepost for people driving through the area. Talk about some of the newest developments here in the area as far as energy technology research is concerned.
Well, as far as, there's research through the university and through the College of the Desert and just sort of the folks doing research as they develop. Probably the best news is we've got a lot of solar here, obviously, between here and Blythe, here in the Arizona desert, or Arizona border. The big solar's going in, but only a couple of places you actually see it. So you see the wind turbines, but you don't actually see most of the solar that's going in. So that's a good thing. So we've got this renewable energy opportunity, but it has little visual impact on the community, which is nice. As far as R&D goes, a lot of stuff going on. We're at a site yesterday looking at a PV site. Huge opportunity for someone to come in with a PV washing system, and we've got a couple of folks out of university that we're working with. Huge opportunity there, and if you go down the list of sort of the ancillary technologies that can flow from what's going on in our region, it's big.
And what this does is it kind of reinforces the importance of alternative renewable energy sources and the development of those resources in terms of the economy, doesn't it?
Certainly. We were at a geothermal plant yesterday as an example. There's a company called Symbol Technologies, you may have heard of them. They're mining the lithium out of the brine that comes out to create the geothermal. So the hot water comes out of the ground, steam creates a turbine, creates energy, but at the same time there's lithium in there. They're mining that out of there to create batteries for storage for that same energy.
On a broader kind of a level, on a broader note, in terms of the economy, the economic resurgence, slower in some places, faster in others, things are starting to look kind of bright. There's a turnaround going on, isn't there?
Certainly, and part of it's renewable in our sector, part of it's housing, part of it's tourism. A little bit of everything contributes here in our valley. It's a tough. Our unemployment rates are still higher than the rest of Riverside County, which is still higher than the rest of California, which is still higher than the U.S. So we're still up there with our unemployment rates, but people are getting back to work. Industries are moving here. There's a bit of a renaissance here in Palm Springs and in the rest of the Coachella Valley. So we're certainly bullish.
I'm standing now with Larry McLaughlin. He is the Deputy Sector Navigator at the College of the Desert. And Larry, it's nice to have you with us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
This is an important event, not only to the local area, but to the College of the Desert, and really one could probably suggest to all the other colleges in the area. Why?
Well, it's important because it brings all the stakeholders together. Everybody that's interested in the energy industry, renewables, sustainability, the energy efficiency issues are all here talking about energy and what it means to the region.
How closely is the college involved itself with regard to the study, research, development of sustainable renewable resources?
Mm-hmm. Well, College of the Desert has been involved in doing workforce training for quite some time, focusing mainly on renewable energy, but also on energy efficiency. And more recently, though, we've been developing a credit program, a full degree program called Energy Systems Technologies, and we've begun to offer classes for that and enrolling students at this point. So we're working to not only get people trained for the industry as it grows in our area, but we're working to educate students for careers in that industry over the long run.
Now, are you able to get the support of businesses, whether they be local, national, regional businesses, with regard to providing necessary materials and resources for this instructional media that you're teaching for this particular sector?
Yes, we've had a lot of great support from industry. We've got a number of partners that have contributed equipment, contributed funding, cost sharing on grants, and providing instructional resources. They provide curriculum information that can be used in classrooms, send instructors some of their own experts within the company to come and help teach our students. Companies like First Solar, NextEra Energy Resources, Abengoa Solar, WindTech, a wind company. We've had lots of support from renewable energy providers.
In terms of the economy, and we can probably talk locally and regionally here because of the summit here today and what it's trying to cover, how important is the continuing development and implementation of renewable energy sources today?
Well, I believe that renewable energy is going to be a key factor in how our economy evolves over the coming years. Everyone is aware of the global warming issue. We're fully aware of the depletion of oil and the gas resources in the country. We are fully aware of the need to become independent of foreign sources for those energy resources. So I think renewable energy is going to factor in very prominently. It's important that we have a workforce that is skilled and ready to produce, to provide what industry needs in terms of the knowledge base that we have to go forward for innovation, for production of renewable energy resources. I really believe that it's going to be extremely important, and the community college system has to respond. We've got to do our part to make sure that we have those trained workers and those educated people filling the occupations and careers that are being created in that industry.
We're talking now with Mike Basich. He is the Assistant General Manager of Riverside Public Utilities and also the Sustainability Officer for the City of Riverside. Mike, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you guys for being here today, too.
Of course. The City of Riverside, for a lot of people who don't know, kind of leads the way for a lot of municipalities as far as a model to follow in terms of sustainable energy and renewable resources. Sure. Talk a little bit about your role in the city and kind of what your office does to move these projects forward.
As a sustainability officer for the City of Riverside, it's kind of a big task because the city, as you mentioned, is pretty progressive. We have an outstanding green action plan. It's actually our third iteration of the plan. So unlike a lot of communities that are just forming a plan or struggling to keep up, we've actually completed 2 other plans, which is a sign of how much progress the community's made. My job as a sustainability officer is to keep all the city departments on task with their part of the plan, and then communicating that back to the community, to citizens, and engaging both in a dialogue. So I bring the city departments to the community, and we kind of bring the community to the city departments, and the community ultimately keeps me on task for my job.
This may be kind of a tough question for you to answer, Mike, because you answer to a lot of individuals at the city, but why do you think the City of Riverside has taken and put so much effort into the development of renewable resources and green resources, and why are they making such a push to kind of lead the way as a green renewable energy resource city?
Well, as someone who's lived in Riverside for a long time, I can also tell you that the history of Riverside is very much a pioneering spirit. So the city was founded on purpose by a pioneering group of people that formed a colony, and we've always kind of kept that intention. Instead of looking out to tomorrow or next week, the city of Riverside has always been forward-thinking 50 years, 100 years into the future, and it just made sense for us, partly because we're so impacted geographically where we're located, We're impacted by air pollution of other communities. So obviously when you can see the air, it kind of drives the issue home. So I think it started with the clean air people, and it turned into just a natural environmental cause that the community is really taking the leadership on. And then the city of Riverside itself has vision. Next, we have a great mayor, Mayor Bailey, and our previous mayor, Mayor Loveridge. This was part of their mission and part of their legacy to the community. So they're doing it, and we're doing it for them.
Mike, let's talk about maybe some of the important projects right now that you're working on and that the city will continue to work on into the future. Maybe some projects that haven't even gotten started yet, but you can kind of talk about.
We have several renewable projects that the city of Riverside is looking at. We get a lot of wind generation, we get a lot of geothermal renewable generation, we have a lot of solar generation, so we're always looking at new projects, including a few areas for possible solar farms that we're looking to develop where we collect solar large area. And we're kind of always kind of looking for those. We're right now at 20% renewable, on our way to 33% renewable as far as our portfolio of resources. And the other city departments, our fleet is nearly 90% alternative fuel vehicles, and we have parks located within 5 miles of almost 90% of the community. We've got a lot going on, and we have so much going on that we started this greenriverside.com website, including on there is a map, so you can see where some of the solar projects are, bike trails, water-wise gardens in town, any kind of help or community event that's going on, you can find it there too, and you can kind of see it all for yourself right there.
I'm with Robert Frost. He is with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. And Mr. Frost, it's nice to have you with us today.
Thank you.
You're going to be speaking here today at the 4th Annual Energy Summit. And what are you going to be talking about?
Well, our question was, what are we doing as labor to work with the clean energy development in the area? And some of those things are dealing with the education that we're doing. There's a big misconception that our jobs on these solar projects are short-term jobs. They're not short-term jobs. I mean, I've been in this industry working several different jobs for 32 years, and we're trying to promote that. The training that we're doing, back in the early 2000s, we started training our members to be prepared to do these large solar projects. Now we're moving on to the CalCEP, which is California Advanced Lighting Technology Program, and the EVITP, which deals with the electric vehicles that are right behind us. Those electric vehicles require energy chargers at their homes. It also requires changes at the power stations and the grid. So that's what we're training our members on, and we're showing the youth here today about the apprenticeship programs.
So you're obviously very, very involved right now in getting your members trained up to tackle these new jobs and positions that are hopefully coming up very, very soon. Let's talk about maybe some of the projects that you're aware of that your members might be involved in right now in this area.
Okay. Well, just in between Riverside and San Bernardino counties and Imperial, the three that are involved in this conference, we have about 1,900 electricians working on these projects. It's helped us double the size of our apprenticeship program in the last year just to prepare to man this work, and it's created a lot of jobs to lead them to a future pathway.
There's still a lot of people consider some reluctance on the part of government and on the part of business to move things forward. Maybe it's because the economy still hasn't grown enough yet, whatever the case may be. What do we need to do, Mr. Frost, do you think, to get government and business, local, small, maybe mid-sized, or even large organizations, corporations, to help move some of these projects and initiatives forward in order to grow the renewable energy resource industry and put people back to work?
Well, and that's one of the key components that we're going to be talking about. There has to be a cooperation. We need to get everybody at the table. That includes labor, along with the communities, the water districts, the power producers. Get them all at the table and talk and get a guarantee of local area hire. That's what we've done in this region. The local area hire is in between Riverside and San Bernardino counties for the projects we have in the eastern Coachella Valley right now. On those projects, we are also opened up for the military with our Helmets to Hard Hats program to guarantee the veterans a career pathway for a good job.
We're talking now with Jeff Reed. He is Director of Emerging Technologies with Southern California Gas Company. And the gas company, of course, one of the key sponsors of this event, the 4th Annual Energy Summit here in Southern California, here in Palm Springs. And Jeff, it's good to have you with us. Thank you so much for agreeing to take a little time with us today.
Sure. It's great to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you for a few minutes.
Well, thanks so much. Southern California Gas Company, very, very prominent, of course, in the region. Everybody knows them. And your role here, the gas company's role here at this particular event, why is it so important?
Well, we're always happy to get out in the community and network with people, network with other companies and our customers, and get the message out about the importance of natural gas as part of the long-term clean energy future of the country and the state. People are very well aware that natural gas is plentiful and inexpensive, but people aren't always as aware at how rapidly natural gas technologies have progressed over the last 20 years or so in reducing their emissions profile by 60 to 80% with respect to NOx, and significantly with respect to greenhouse gas as well through efficiency improvements. So we just like to get the message out and also make sure people understand that natural gas technologies are continuing to evolve. They'll get cleaner and cleaner over time, and so we see this as not just sort of a temporary fix, but as a long-term part of the energy landscape.
I think that's kind of an important point, too, that you made, too. A lot of people may not think of, gas may not come to mind as a renewable resource, a sustainable resource, but it certainly is one that's very, very plentiful. Talk about the gas company's role in continuing to develop new and emerging technologies with respect to natural gas, and how is that development process coming? I mean, are we seeing new projects in the future as far as natural gas and SoCalGas is concerned?
Yeah, we sure are. I think people who are involved in the renewables arena are aware that natural gas is a very important part of the energy system in terms of making up for shortfalls in wind and solar that are intermittent resources and not available 24/7. But beyond that, natural gas itself is an ultra-clean resource, as we've talked about, and new technologies like fuel cells and other types of natural gas technologies that have very, very low, almost zero emissions are being developed, and we're developing technology across the full spectrum of applications, everything from transportation to end use to production. And another thing people aren't too well aware of is that there are ways of making methane, which is what natural gas is, from renewable feedstocks. That's referred to as renewable natural gas. It has very low emissions and it's zero carbon. So we would see, going forward in the future, more and more blending of carbon neutral natural gas with conventional gas. So there's various ways. We're doing a joint project with Scripps Institute of Oceanography in San Diego on development of algae strains that can be digested or fermented into methane, as an example. We have a demonstration project in the city of Riverside on a natural gas vehicle technology, and we have probably ongoing 5 or so fuel cell demonstration projects throughout Southern California.
That's very, very exciting stuff. We've noticed a lot of public transportation vehicles, in fact, a lot of private cars now that now run on natural gas. Is SoCalGas involved with the development and research of new technologies to make these types of vehicles available to the public at large, certainly at least down the line?
Yeah, we sure are. We're involved in quite a number of activities. We're active nationally with various industry coalitions on natural gas vehicle matters, but just very recently we made a joint request for proposals together with the South Coast Air Quality Management District to find technology developers that will produce natural gas engine and drivetrains that are about 80% less tailpipe emissions than current generation technologies.
The 4th Annual Southern California Energy Summit centered around the renewed hope for the future, mainly because many of the energy resources are right here in Southern California. The summit showcased the expertise of more than 36 alternative energy speakers in an exhibit hall that was filled with cutting-edge technologies. The hope is that the increased use of green energy in the region will help power the Inland Empire's economic recovery. I'm your host, Dwight Cromie, and I want to thank you for watching this edition of Energy Independence Magazine.